What's up everyone, TJ here. This week I'm out in Aspen, Colorado, testing some park boards in collaboration with Snowboard Magazine. And today I'm checking out the Never Summer Easy Rider. This is gonna be a new snowboard on their lineup for the 2024 season. And in this video, we'll run through all the tech you're gonna find in this thing, and I'll share some feedback on how it's feeling out around the resort. Let's get into it. All right, it's been a good day out here riding around both Snowmass and Buttermilk. And before we jump into the tech, for your reference, I'm 5'10", I weigh around 155 pounds, and I rode this snowboard in a 154. So this is gonna be a freestyle and all mountain focused board on the Never Summer lineup, and it is a true twin. But probably the most unique thing about this snowboard is that it runs a fairly new profile in the Never Summer line. And I believe this is the first twin offering with this profile, called their triple camber profile. It's still gonna have an overall rocker dominant profile, but in that middle section between the feet where you typically would have full rocker and gives it that kind of pivoting action where you can rock from nose to tail without loading up tension in the snowboard, they added another camber section. So that's why it's called triple camber. And that's gonna add two main things to the feel of the snowboard, in my opinion. First thing isn't as noticeable, but still worth mentioning. You are gonna be able to load a little bit more tension, get a little bit more snap and energy and power out of the snowboard because of that additional zone that's just gonna hold a little bit more tension. But what I think the most noticeable thing to the feel of the snowboard is that it wants to track straighter. When you're flat base, it's not gonna have that loose, pivoty feel that you might be used to with Never Summer. So a little bit more precision, a little bit more of a locked in feel to it. And it's gonna make you use a little bit more of a deliberate movement to initiate turns. So I think compared to the Shockwave and the traditional rocker camber, it's like one step closer to that positive camber feel, while still offering the benefits that you're used to from rocker dominant snowboards. Definitely a little bit more of an interesting feel, and I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys think about it as more people get to try out this new camber profile. And as you'd expect from Never Summer, this board's gonna have a lot of other great tech built into it as well. You're gonna find their Power Grip side cut, which is some very mellow added contact points built into the side cut to help offer a little bit more control and grip in icy, firm, or variable conditions where you might be struggling to hold a strong edge, as well as a lot of carbon built into the snowboard. So you're gonna find an X pattern right under your feet, as well as V-shaped carbon stringers going from under the binding out to the contact points to make the board more responsive edge to edge, and also just offer a little bit more energy, a little bit more snap, while helping to keep things lightweight. Other than that, you're gonna find multiple dampening technologies built into this snowboard to help mellow out vibrations as you're out there exploring or riding at higher speeds or through choppy or snow conditions. I think that's particularly helpful with the rocker dominant profiles. And it's gonna run a sintered base. So that's a higher end base material known to be harder, faster, and more durable compared to an extruded base. But you do wanna make sure to wax this thing regularly to maintain a nice fast glide out there. And that's gonna be it for a quick tech breakdown out here. I'll check back in with you guys later and we'll talk about how this thing has felt out around the resort. All right, I wanna start off talking about the finish you're gonna find on this snowboard. First thing I notice is the edges of this durable top sheet are filed down. So in my experience, that makes it a lot less likely that that top sheet is gonna get chipped over time throughout a season, spending time in lift lines and things like that, as well as this sintered sidewall that goes all the way 360 around the snowboard. Very clean looking overall. And as far as the flex goes, I'd say this board is a little bit on the stiffer side of medium, both lengthwise and torsionally. So it comes through with some pretty good stability. It's a fairly sturdy snowboard, but that triple camber gives it a little bit of a different feel. So it still is overall rocker dominant. And when you lean onto your front foot or your back foot, it still kind of naturally puts you in a slightly pressed position where the other side of the snowboard is lifted. And that's where you're gonna start to feel the tension load up in the snowboard and start to feel that stability. And when it comes to pop, you know, when you wanna ollie the snowboard, get it in the air, try to get some extra boost out of it, that's when you're gonna start to feel those camber zones load up. And I think that works together really well with all the carbon you're gonna find in the snowboard to actually come through with a surprising amount of energy. I don't think this is a snowboard that you're gonna be let down by when it comes to pop. and it does come through with some good energy. And as far as getting presses, doing butters and flat ground type tricks, I think that's also going to be helpful there. One thing I did notice is that when you do start to press and flex the snowboard, it hinges right in between those camber zones. So kind of like right in between your feet there. And that just provides a nice platform for getting those presses, giving you a little bit more leverage, making it a little bit easier to get taller presses, although you are going to be fighting that stiffer flex and the carbon and things like that. So it's not super easy. You got to muscle it a little bit, but still a pretty fun board for butters and doing that kind of stuff. It does have a decent bit of precision to it though, so I will say it is a board where you're still going to want to have some focus on your edge control to make sure you're not clipping up as you're swiveling around on the snow doing that stuff. And when it comes to park laps and more freestyle focused riding, I think that's where the Easy Rider is going to shine the most. It's maybe a little bit on the more jump leaning side of the spectrum, but overall going to be a very versatile snowboard for that kind of stuff. It's got the stability to start stepping up to the larger features, hitting bigger jumps, trying bigger tricks, and if you take that landing a little bit deep, I think it's gonna keep you on your feet. It doesn't have a washy feel to it. I like the quick turn feel you get out of this snowboard as well for initiating rotations on jumps. It does spin well. And as far as the jibs go, similar to doing flat ground stuff, that profile does give you a little bit more leverage, but you do got to use a little bit of muscle to get those taller presses, a little bit better form. But on the flip side, it does have a good feel for hitting those features where you're taking in a little bit more speed, and that stability starts to come in handy a little bit more without being so aggressive that Mini Shred has an off feel to it either. So overall, just a very versatile snowboard in the park, something that I think you'll really enjoy for more freestyle focused riding. I also want to talk about the carving experience you're going to get with this snowboard. At a 154, you're going to get a 25 centimeter waist and a 7.42 meter side cut. So maybe a little bit narrow for the size. If you have a larger boot size, you're definitely going to want to consider getting a wide option in this snowboard, but it has a pretty average, versatile side cut. And I gotta say, carving was a standout for me with this snowboard. It holds a really solid edge, rips turns. As soon as you get this board on edge, it just naturally wants to throw you into a carve because of that rocker dominant profile. You're gonna find quick, smooth turn initiation, very nimble edge to edge as well. And even as you start to let this thing loose, open it up a little bit, get it up to those higher speeds, it has a confident feel to it. It wasn't a board that I really found any chatter in the tips as you started to open it up. And it's got the stability to mob through more chopped up variable terrain as well. So overall, I'd say this is actually a pretty strong carver, even for more all mountain exploring, especially considering that it's a freestyle twin. Overall, I think this board is going to be a solid choice for intermediate to more experienced riders looking for something that's capable exploring the resort, but provides a great platform for all-around freestyle progression while offering the benefits of reverse camber. This board feels fast out there, it's got durable construction, and offers a little bit more precision than your typical rocker dominant snowboard. So if you're looking for something like that, consider the Never Summer Easy Rider. I'm gonna have this snowboard linked down in the description below this video, as well as a link to the latest issue of Snowboard Magazine. So please make sure to go check that out. If you have any questions for me, drop them down in the comments. And if you got some value out of this video, please don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new here. I appreciate all you guys. Thank you for watching today, and I'll see you in a new one next time.